have you noticed that sugar suddenly hits way harder than it used to? A donut triggers a hot flush, breakfast cereal leaves you exhausted by mid-morning. This isn't random. Menopause changes how your body responds to sugar, and the effects are bigger, faster, and longer lasting. Keep watching to learn 4 ways sugar affects you differently during the menopause and what actually helps. Number 1, menopause changes the way that your body handles sugar. So normally, sort of pre-perimenopause and menopause, your estrogen plays a big part in managing a nice control of blood sugar levels. Problem is, when your estrogen starts to fall in the perimenopause and menopause, this can have a really big impact on the stability of blood sugar levels. So you may find that foods that never caused a problem before, suddenly you're noticing a big difference. And it can be staple foods. So it can be things like your breakfast cereal, your piece of toast, maybe just that little sweet treat mid-morning. So what happens is that your blood sugar control goes all over the place. You eat something maybe like your breakfast cereal, your blood sugar rises really quickly, but it also crashes really quickly. And this is what can cause a lot of the symptoms. So it can be things like mood swings, you just suddenly are completely devoid of any energy. You may find you get shaky or a bit lightheaded, or you end up with headaches. Number 2, this instability of blood sugar control can actually trigger a lot of menopause symptoms or make the ones that you have worse. Because there's less stability as your blood sugar levels are going up, when you get that big crash, this can have a huge impact on your nervous system. So you may find that you suddenly get very nervous, you get kind of agitated. You may find that your mood goes all over the place. You may find that it triggers a hot flush or a night sweats. It can interfere with your sleep quite dramatically, and it can also cause fatigue. So number 3, when your blood sugar goes up really quickly and then falls, this can have a big impact on cortisol. And cortisol is our stress hormone. We tend to have more of it in the perimenopause and menopause anyway, just because of all the hormonal changes that are going on. But if you get a big crash of blood sugar, the body thinks that you're in an emergency. It's this sort of flight or fight. So your body then produces cortisol and also adrenaline, and this helps to bring your blood sugar level back up. The problem, though, that this cortisol and adrenaline surge causes things like racing heart, your palpitations. You can feel that kind of wired and tired feeling. It can cause anxiety, it can cause irritability, you can get that sudden hot flush or sweat. And it's also a common trigger for that waking up between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So as your estrogen causes fluctuations in cortisol, it can hit really fast and hard. And this is why a lot of the sugar foods, so you get this sudden urge to have something sweet because you've had that really big dip, you've had all the extra cortisol action, so you grab something sweet, but instead of it making you feel better and comforting, it starts this roller coaster all over again and can make you worse. Number 4, this up and down of blood sugars can create an all-day roller coaster, especially if you start off with a breakfast that's high in carbohydrates. So this could be things like your packet breakfast cereal, those tubs that you just put into the microwave to heat up. It could be your piece of toast and your cup of coffee. That is going to set the tone for the whole day. Your blood sugar is going to go up, so you're going to think, oh, I feel fine. Mid-morning, there's a big crash, so you're going to get that mid-morning feeling of fatigue or irritability, or you get a hot flush or a sweat. You then have more to eat, you want more cravings. have something for lunch, maybe just with lots of bread in it and a sandwich or something like pasta. That then gives you the afternoon crash. And by that point, your blood sugar is so kind of agitated that you can end up getting the fatigue in the evening because your energy, your whole level of energy is just completely gone. So this kind of roller coaster can also just make you fatigued the whole time. It can affect your sleep, so you have poor sleep, and then you wake up next morning absolutely starving, and you start the whole process all over again. So you can see by just having one wrong meal a day can have an impact for days and days to come. So what helps? So if you are finding that you're in this roller coaster of up and down, it doesn't mean that you need more discipline. You know, I hear so many of you say, oh, I wish I could stop these sugar cravings. I wish I had more self-control or willpower. It's not that you need that. Your body just needs that little bit more support. So the good news is that just tiny little changes can make a huge difference. So here's a few to try. First thing is start the day with a protein and healthy fat meal. The protein and the healthy fats will stabilize your blood sugar. You may find you can go all morning without actually having a mid-morning snack, and that's obviously going to help with the sort of calorie intake. You need something substantial because you've been fasting all night, and your blood sugars are going to be really low first thing in the morning anyway. You could look at things like protein breakfast, like egg, scrambled egg, omelets. You could look at Greek yogurt with things like chia seeds. You could make a nice breakfast of making, if you're vegetarian or vegan, things like scrambled tofu and a little bit of veg. I know for me, I cannot survive if I have a carbohydrate breakfast. I'm literally done by about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I learned the hard way a long time ago. So for me, yes, it takes me an extra 20 minutes in the morning to cook my breakfast from scratch. I always have an omelette during the week, different toppings every day. I really enjoy having that kind of breakfast, and I have a little bit of organic butter with it, and my veg, and maybe a little bit of feta cheese or something like that. And then the weekends, I will have Greek yogurt with some nuts and seeds and a little bit of fruit. And that for me makes a huge amount of difference. So if you're having carbohydrates, make sure that you also have protein and a little bit of fat in there. If you just have a huge bowl of pasta with nothing much in it, that's going to cause a huge fluctuation. So have some kind of protein in there, maybe with a drizzle of olive oil or something, just to give you a nice little bit of fat content. Eat plenty of what's called low glycemic foods. You can go online and look up low glycemic foods, and it will give you a whole list of things. You can have a fabulous diet without a lot of sugary stuff. And I know for me, it made a huge amount of difference, especially in the perimenopause. The other thing you need to do is to look at your complex carbohydrates. So that would be things like lentils, your beans, your pulses, non-starchy veg as well, and your berries. You can add these into just about anything. The other thing is manage stress, because if your blood sugars are going up and down and the cortisol is racing everywhere, just by doing some simple techniques like your breathing, slow breathing, your little bit of yoga or mindfulness, or just a short walk, 10-minute walk outside, a little bit of fresh air can make a huge amount of difference for the nervous system as well. I hope you found this one helpful. I know for me, it was certainly a game changer, just doing little tweaks to my diet, which I am following now. I still do exactly the same things now. If any of you have found that changing your diet has made a difference, what kind of breakfast do you have? When do you get your first symptoms? And do you think maybe there could be a link? Maybe it's something you've not thought about before. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.